Welcome to the Dental Team Podcast. I'm your host, Kiera Dent, and I have this crazy idea that maybe I could combine a doctor and a team member's perspective because let's face it, dentistry can be a challenging profession with those two perspectives. I've been a dental assistant, treatment coordinator, scheduler, biller, office manager, regional manager, practice owner, and I have a team of traveling consultants where we have traveled to over 165 different offices coaching teams. Yep, we don't just understand you, we are you. Our mission is to positively impact the world of dental, and I believe that this podcast is the greatest way I can help elevate teams, grow VIP experiences, reduce stress, and create A-teams. Welcome to the Dental A-Team Podcast. Hello, Dental A-Team listeners. This is Kiera, and you guys. I'm excited for today because not only do I have one, but two guests. I'm bringing on the one and only Ashley Dorn. You guys know her. You love her. With me, she's one of our traveling consultants. And this is an extra special episode because we have one of her offices that she coaches. And this girl is a rock star office manager. Her name is Angela, and I met her at DSI Mastermind. Angela, she is in the Greater Long Island Dental for 12 years and has been in dentistry for 21 years in all the facets. She's a treatment plan coordinator with high-level cases on top, and she's also a practice leader, marketing director, and the beauty and the brains behind the docs, which she wrote is just kidding, and I purposely said it because she really is. She's brilliant. I love sitting in on her meetings because her practice it's insane, and her level of thought process and organization is just super, super fun. So I'm so excited to bring Ashley and Angela onto the podcast today. So we'll start with Angela. Angela, how are you today?
Hey, Kiera, thank you so much. I am doing awesome, and it's such a pleasure to be here talking to our awesome audience that I listen to all the time as well on your great podcast. So thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you both.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. And thanks for being a fan of the Dental A-Team. We love hearing listeners. So it's really fun to put you behind the scenes on the mic. And then, of course, Ash. Ash, how are you today?
Oh, I am just so good. I'm so excited for this, and I'm so happy to be here. I'm coming at you guys from Wisconsin today. So I'm currently...
Did you hear a little more accent?
When I'm podcasting with Kiera because, it's just, you just never know.
But Ash, I called you out because I hear a little more Wisconsin accent coming out of you today, being back in your stomping grounds.
Oh, that's so true. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Angela's like, I started picking up the for sure. And I'm like, do I have that because I'm from Wisconsin? I was like, is that a Wisconsin thing?
I think I said for sure 4 times today in like a 20-minute conversation. And I said, oh my goodness, my coach is rubbing off on me in more ways than one.
That's good. Ash is a good coach to have. So let's kind of take it away. Ashley, you've been coaching Angela's office. Kind of walk us through just a smidge, kind of tell us like what your experience was going into the practice, what you've learned, and then we're going to pivot gears to Angela and hear Angela's side and some of the fun things you guys have worked on. So Ash, let's start with you. Walk us through your experience working with Angela in the Greater Long Island Dental.
Oh, man. Okay. This is like one of my all-time favorite teams. And I'm a little bit hesitant in saying that just because I'm afraid of who's going to hear it. But I'm also like, no, this is one of my all-time favorite teams.
You do talk. I'll back you, Ash. You do talk about this office. Probably you talk about a lot of your offices, but this one always comes with like raving, glowing reviews. I feel like they really just inspire you and motivate you and challenge you. So I think they're just one of those innovative offices, which is why I think you get a high from this office.
I have a very special place in my heart for my New Yorkers. And I do say that a lot off mic, but I'm going to say it on mic because it's so true. And like just the energy of this team, like the work ethic, the drive, like already crushing it. Like Angela's already running a black belt level DSI office, right? And again, I'm just going to shout them out for attaining that this year as quickly as they did because that's incredible. Yeah. Like the systemization in this office is already so on point, and to be able to be a part of the experience to take them to the next level has just been so gratifying. And it's like, this is what I love about being a coach, because you really get to like impact their lives and change like people's lives of coming to work every single day. And that's huge. So yeah, just like the drive, the energy of this office, this team, the work ethic, the organizational like level attention to detail that Angela has is some of the best I've seen. And to be able to like, again, work through her with this has been awesome.
Totally. So beautiful. Love what you said, Ash. Love the office. So, Angela, you've been with DSI. You work with the dental A team. Ashley's your dental A team coach. You've got DSI. You guys are freaking killing it. DSI standards. So, walk us through a little bit about your experience working with Ashley specifically in the dental A team and kind of where you guys are navigating now.
Absolutely. I'd be happy to. So we've been with DSI and the dental aides, well, DSI for about a year and 3 or 4 months now at this point. And I signed on with Ashley back in October of last year, but we had her come into the practice and kind of evaluate the situation and what was happening in our systemization, aspect of the practice, and see where we can improve to take ourselves to the next level. And of course, we've been doing, different types of consulting for over the years, but everybody has something special to bring. And when Ashley came in here, not only was it a great level of energy, but the systems that the dental A team has in play really got me thinking to say, wow, am I that organized? If someone walked into my practice, would they be able to pick up exactly where I needed them to be and get to that rock star level, knowing what our expectations there are and the game plan and what their position is and how to drive results, right? So with that being said, Ashley and I decided that we have a relationship together with monthly coaching calls. And thank God, because nobody could really think about what was going to happen in the world, right? So we started on really early, kind of January, Ash, I think it was, when we really dove into coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And we started to get a process down because my biggest concern was my human capital. We all know that it's the biggest asset and the best return on investment that you can get is your team. So what we did was we needed to come up with a game plan to have a specific onboarding process to get my team up to speed so that they can, again, be rock stars, Then COVID hit. And instead of crying about it, we grabbed the bull by the horns and we met weekly, Ashley and I, and, we would sit down together for about an hour or so at a time and jump on calls and just hammer through what was really important and what we needed to be successful in reopening our practice. And we took the time to really sit back and create these processes to bring the team up to speed when we walked back into the practice to be seamless. And with that, and Ashley's help and the process of the training plan, we were able to come up with a specific onboarding process, which is a 30, 60, 90 day, type plan, which gives my team the job description, the expectations we have for them, when they're going to have their check-ins, and basically what their onboard scorecard is going to look like. So at any given point in time, they know where they're supposed to be within the first 90 days of employment in our practice. And it's great because having somebody who is so well versed and coming from a different angle, such as Ashley, to be able to kind of dive into my systems, take a look at it and revamp it to really make it easy for patients, I always say patients, right? But for my team as well, for my team to just jump in seamlessly was huge. So our biggest thing is we start to hire people, we get them in the door, and then we think that that's it. It's over. We got a live body, we're going to start working, we're going to start crushing it, but that's not nearly the case. So, my doctors and I call it baptism by fire in a sense, like we just throwing them into the fire and let them go and sink or swim, kind of. That's not fair. And we know it's not easy, especially in a dental practice that runs on such a high level and has high expectations. So I would send Ashley what I had, my checklist that weren't complete until I met you guys. I would send Ashley my training plan, which wasn't complete until I met you guys. And what she did was basically broke it down into what tasks include in a nice bullet point format. She then went forward even further and explained all of the specifics on what is expected from our, upper management or our leadership team, I should say, to carry down to the practice. And then basically created this onboarding scorecard with a checklist and deadlines and a performance rating. So it was a clear line of communication on what each team member understood and was able to accomplish within these, I guess you can call it like a dating period, right? Your probationary period. Mm-hmm. And we completed one for the business team, one for the dental assistant team, and one for the hygiene team. And each process has every single step of the way that they need to do to be successful within the first 90 days and create their habits. And I honestly, at this point, I have had the pleasure of hiring 3 people on 3 different teams utilizing this pre-COVID and post-COVID. And it couldn't have been more seamless. And I'm thankful, for sure thankful. There's that for sure.
There's that for sure. Ashley, you're bringing it back in. No, I love that, Angela. So if I'm understanding this right, because I know you and Ashley worked on this, and you guys, what I love, and the reason I wanted to bring Angela on the podcast today for many reasons. One, I just like chatting with her. You guys hear that, New Yorker accent come out of her. We've got Ashley with her Wisconsin, and then Kiera's got her Valley girl, California over here. But the reality is, Angela, you've been in dentistry for a long time. I remember the first time I met you at a DSI mastermind meeting. I was like, oh, shoot, she's a strong OM. Like, are we going to be able to bring value to her practice? I remember thinking that was nothing to do with Ashley because I didn't even know which consultant was going to your practice. But I remember meeting you just thinking, dang, this girl's got it together. And I say that, one, to compliment you, but two, to help us see that no matter who you are in practice leadership, and Angela, I love your, I would say, humility that you said, with Ashley's help, like, are my systems really that good? And I think that that's what makes you such a good leader and such a good implementer and such a good practice director in your practice, because you have that humility and you look at yourself and you check yourself. And then you guys have built this whole onboarding. So kind of walk us through, you've hired 3 people on this onboarding process. How has it gone from what you did before to what you're doing now? Kind of walk me through both sides of it and what you've seen improve or disimprove from this whole process.
Absolutely. I'd be happy to. So the first person that I hired on was a dental assistant. And this was before I had this process down. It was still in the works. So I just kind of prematurely ripped certain things out. And I kind of like, again, I spit it out like a fire hose to her. I was like, this is what you have to do. This is what we expect. And now you're throwing her chair on. And at the same time, she has to work with the patients and the doctor, but still she's trying to learn all these other things that I kind of threw in her lap. And I realized that she had such talent, and I knew she's still with me, thank goodness, but I knew she had the capabilities to move fast, but I felt like I was doing her a disservice by throwing it at her. So she was into her employment about 3 months at that point when I finished with Ashley, the dental assistant on board. That's the first one we started. And I said, you know what, who cares? Who cares that she's been here 3 months? Let me give it to her anyway. And with that, I printed it out, gave it to her, and I sat down with her. And I really went through, everything that she was expected to learn. And to my surprise, she learned a lot of it and excelled in those specific areas. But at the same time, what was more gratifying was the fact that she was like, thank you so much. At least I have direction. I need these things written down. I like to check things off my list, and I'm that type of person. I mean, I know, I've studied Colby, my personality, my means of operation, or what have you. And I know I'm the type of person that I need to have organization and checklists and bullet points. And so my biggest thing now, and with this onboarding process as well, is asking my team, like, how do you like to learn? Do you like things written out, spelled out for you? Do you need to check things off of a list? Do you want a lot of information? Do you want a little information? And I think that this process that Ashley created really is perfect for all types of learners, all types of people, all types of positions. So this is something that you can incorporate anywhere, not just a dental practice, any type of business. If you want organization, systemization. And in regards to what you were saying too about, always going to learn more and humbling yourself, I always want to be the best version of myself. And I'm grateful yet never satisfied. And there will always be someone around me that is better or has something more to offer. So that's like the best word of advice that I can give to anybody, even my teammates. Like, I'm no better than anybody else. I just continuously take my education and I surround myself with people who are, just as successful and more successful than I am, because we all can learn from each other.
Yeah. And I love what you said, Angela, like, you want to be the best version of yourself. And I also love that you said these team members were so grateful, because I've heard a lot of people when they think about this onboarding process, it's a pretty lengthy, intense 30, 60, 90.
Sure. Yeah.
Like I've seen them. If you guys have our Dental A Team operations manual, you've seen it. If you've bought our hiring course, you've seen samples of it. If you want to email us, hello@thedentalateam.com, we're happy to share a sample of this with you. But the reality is, Angela, I love that Ashley was able to help you make it so specific for your practice that literally you have a plug and play onboarding process now that's a true system, and your team was so grateful. I think about myself coming into a practice. You're exactly right. Most of the time it's like, hey, follow this person around and good luck.
Yeah.
Sink or swim.
Yeah. And it's the worst feeling ever.
Yes. And then I also hate as a leader when their 90 days come up and I have to have an interview with them and I think, oh, shoot, have you done what we wanted you to do? Is it not? Like it feels very reactive instead of proactive where you're really setting the stage. And I know that that's a huge compliment to Ashley because Ashley really helped you build out this process of what exactly do they need to know in 30 days? How do they have those meetings? So Ash, when you were helping Angela build this, what were some of the things you guys discussed so you could really customize this specifically to Angela? Guess what's back, you guys? Women Dentist Connect. Yes, Dr. Summer Casmel and myself are putting on our first ever virtual event. We did it last year. We had raving fans, and due to COVID-19, we decided we're going to continue on. So mark your calendars, November 13th and 14th. All women in dentistry. We don't care who you are. If you're a doctor, a treatment coordinator, scheduler, biller, office manager, spouse, we want all females to come with us to Women Dentist Connect. So pop on over to our website, womendentistconnect.com. Tickets are on sale right now. And we even did a thing where it's your entire team can actually come. We want all of you to come. It's going to be CE. We're going to talk about mom guilt, how to run a successful business. We're having an incredible speaker lineup with Dr. Mark Costas. He's our only male cameo. We're having Desiree Yazdan on social media marketing, Aaron Elliott, who's talking about sleep apnea. We're also bringing on Dr. Amanda Wilson to talk about ortho. And of course, Dr. Summer Casmel and myself will be there talking about how to hold your team accountable, how to run effective meetings. So don't wait. Get on over to womendentistconnect.com. I'll see you guys November 13th and 14th.
Yeah, man, that's a great question because I feel like this is, and I briefly mentioned it already, but this is where Angela and I really jive really well, is I think we're both very detail oriented. So just, customizing it in a way that's going to fit their practice was so important. Because in dentistry, a lot of us are type A personality types, right? Like we're very detail oriented. We have to be because we're working on such small, minute scales. But even like the back office team. So things like we needed input from the doctors, right? From like Dr. Woltman and what does he think his dental assistants need to do in order to be like rock stars, right? Let's talk about expanded functions, and we're talking about onboarding for the dental assistant team. Like, let's talk about sterilization, and maybe even what I really love to do too is like pull the team leads, like give me your strongest DA. And let's empower her to help create this form with us so we don't miss any of those steps.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that, Ash, because I forgot to add that. I can't even take all of the credit because, again, I have these team leads that there are certain things when they're in the trenches that I may not know that they're already doing or that they need done at a certain point in time. So if I have Christine, she's my right hand here. And if Christine says, Angela, I need them to be trained on the phones by 60 days. Well, great. That we have to put in 30 day, and it was really good again that Ashley and I know each other so well that we're able to kind of shoot ideas back and forth off of each other. So she gets the flow of my practice. She knows where I need my my team to be at certain points in time. And that couldn't have happened without the coaching for sure.
Mm-hmm. And I think that that's a really beautiful thing to notice is you two really do jive so well. It's the same synergy, same personality style. But Ash was able to see from an outsider's perspective, hey, Angela, let's incorporate team members and leads and let's figure out what they need. Because so often, Angela, I know sitting in the trenches, we often can't see outside of ourselves to what makes this process work so smoothly. And I think it's a huge compliment to you as a leadership role that you're able to use a coach to have them help show you how to make it better. And for you to say, yes, bring these people in. Yes, let's make these team leads' life easier. Let's get them really on board because at the end of the day, that's how all of us are going to be better and work more efficiently as a team.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And now we work on time journaling purposely so that we know if I need to delegate things more to my team to empower them to do other things and feel good about what they're doing in the practice. So that's a new project.
Hey, that's all right. We're all a work in progress. Angela, I want to just pick your brain a little bit, and Ash, feel free to chime in on anything you'd like. But Angela, you guys nailed it with Ash and Angela, rockstar duo team here to have a really seamless, smooth onboarding process that you will continue to evolve and fine tune. I know a lot of offices contact us for how to onboard, and this is literally the how to of how to make it really crystal clear with training and having them proactive as opposed to a reactive process. But Angela, you've got other nuggets of knowledge. What other things have you found, whether through coaching or whether just through your experience, of just little hidden pearls in your world that have really helped other offices be efficient, to be more organized in leadership? What are any of the things, like just top of your head? I'm totally riffing with you right now. Did not prep you at all on this. But what are some of the things that have just made you exceptional in what you do? And again, Ash, feel free to chime in if you've got anything to think of as well.
Oh, I have to know that she does it. I think she's great, but I'll let her take the wheel.
I appreciate that. I mean, I guess off the top of my head, a lot of the time, I like to be involved with my team and see where their struggles and their wins are all the time, and I take a personal approach to all of them. And I really want to see them all succeed. So whenever I see that they're struggling with anything specific, like another thing that we've implemented, thanks to you guys, are consistent check-ins where, we would just move them off all the time because there just wasn't time. So now we make the time, and I really focus on their struggles, and I work with each team member, because at this point I'm going to figure out, is it a system process, right? Because usually when things keep failing, it's the system, not the person. So I've been able to kind of step back and say, all right, well, Susie's not making the mistake all the time. It's the system that's failing Susie, right? So, I mean, I think that's a huge realization for a lot of team leads or any type of leader within a practice, because if you don't have solid systems in place, there is no way your machine is going to be well oiled. And then it just opens the door for even more things to happen, disgruntled employees or what have you. So I guess systemization is something really huge that I always knew needed to be done in my practice, but never put such a focus on it until I met you guys, the DSI masterminds as well as the dental A team. Because if I didn't have people holding me accountable to get this done in certain time frames, I would probably have never done it, just like I pushed off check-ins,
Sure. Well, I think that just says right there the fact that all of us as human beings, Angela, you're no different than the rest of us here. Of if we don't have somebody holding us accountable, we tend to push off the things that we don't think are as important or we don't want to do, or I can do that next month. When a coach can look and say, hey, these are actually like you're having all these problems. Well, if you just do this one thing, you're probably going to alleviate half of what your problems are. But we're like, no, I'm going to fix it in a different way. And so I love that Ashley's been able to help you with that. And I think that that's just a beautiful area to show all of us. And like, Angela, that's why I teed you up so well at the beginning of this is, you guys, Angela is one of the best office managers I've seen. You just get it. And I listen to the things you've done and your knowledge. I'm so freaking excited because we're going to be doing traction meetings together. And I told Angela,
I'm so excited.
Like, we're going to be doing these. Their practice is moving into the traction EOS quarterly meetings. And I cannot freaking wait. It's going to be the three of us with the doctors and the leadership team. And I'm so excited because I want to learn from you. But to see that even you, as good as you are with the details, has been able to move so much forward by having an accountability coach, by having somebody push you into those areas, I think that that's an incredible zone to be in. So Ash, I want you to spin. I'm going to spin to you, Ash. What are some of the things you see in Angela that really make her exceptional as an office manager that other offices could implement that are listening today?
Yeah. For number one, I'm going to piggyback off of what she said in taking the time. She's amazing at taking the time with the employees. The other part where she takes the time is with the doctor, right? With like the owner doctors and the weekly meetings that they have, the check-ins that they have with each other, really like the communication. I want to speak on that. Like the communication you have with your docs is some of the most organic, respectful, but I also feel like you're not afraid to tell them what they need to hear. And just
No.
the relate. No.
No.
I love that.
That's a blessing and a curse. They would argue, I'm sure.
Also, but above and beyond that, right? Like when you tell them, and when you need to tell them things that they need to hear that they probably don't want to hear, but like the respect you guys have for each other is just, it was one of the things I first noticed, stepping foot in your practice, right? And feeling that energy you have between you and your two owner docs, like it's so healthy. And it's because you've worked at it. Like you've taken the time to really like have that structure, have that systemization of meeting with each other, checking in, communicating. And that's one of the other really beautiful things that I noticed that you do just naturally. Like you already had that before I came on as your coach. And I think it just kind of see it develop and grow and morph even more as you guys continue to do that across the team has been really beautiful and really amazing to see.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, one thing that I think is really great too is that, I mean, we have a big mutual respect for each other, and they don't ever treat me as if I'm just a manager of their office. They treat me as a partner. They introduce me as a partner, you know?
They do.
And even they do. And when I was welcomed into DSI, and I crack up all the time, I talk to Dr. Summer Casimel a lot, and we crack up all the time because I say, like, I'm the office manager and like I want to be with the doctors, you know. And I always try to find the person in the room that again, like I said, is better than me, so I can learn from and then bring it back to my doctors. And they're always open. They're always open to listening, and they have a high level of trust for me, and I have the same for them. So without that, you really can't grow a business together. I don't think.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, and I love that you are willing, Angela. And I think a lot of us as office managers, as leadership teams, sometimes we're afraid to speak openly to our doctors. We're afraid of being disrespectful. We're afraid of, well, it's their practice. But Angela, you are so invested in this. I'll ask you, but I don't personally think you view it as their practice. I think you view it as your practice, the whole, like all of you included in it. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. 100%. Yes.
And so I think because you feel that way, you're willing to give them opinions and you're willing to give them input. And they have done a good job of fostering that relationship with you that I would say team members listening, doctors listening, make sure you do that because Angela is so invested in this practice. She's going to go above and beyond. And your doctors are equally invested in you that's what moves a practice forward. That synergy with the doctors and the team leads, moving them forward because then they're not just an employee that's coming in collecting a check. They really are truly an integral part of your practice.
I feel the same way. I tell all my teammates, I let them know, listen, and we protect this house. We grow and protect the assets of this business with fierce intensity. That's stewardship. That's how I lead, and that's how I will continue to grow this business because, it's like our baby, you know what I mean? And we can drive this as far as we want to go, always looking at the horizon, always, knowing there's something bigger and better out there that we can all benefit from as a group, as well as impacting the lives of so many patients, and their family and friends. So that's what it's all about. If you know your why, then coming to work every day is not coming to work. It's doing what you love.
So good. So good. Ash, any last thoughts you want to add on to that? That was solid, Angela.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kiera. I appreciate you.
Yes.
Yeah, I would just say going off of what you said, like doctors listening out there, like take the time to have some systemized communication with your people who are implementing these things in your practice, like with your office managers, with your team leads. Like, again, this communication doesn't just happen overnight. Like this level of respect for each other, you have to work for it. So like really take the time to systemize the meetings, the frequency, the cadence of those meetings. And then when you're talking about it, it's all about like focused on solutions, right? Like not getting stuck in the weeds of the negativity, but being solutions focused and talking through that with each other. Because you'll be surprised at the different perspectives, but how you can actually find a solution to solve both of those or to really relate to both of those perspectives. So take the time for that.
Yes. Yes. And when I hear that, Ashley, my first thought as a not so detail oriented human over here, I'm like, take the time. But I want to put it out there. I don't think it's a lot of time. It's quality time. It's it's investing in them and seeing. It doesn't mean we're spending 6, 7, 8 hours. It means you're being really intentional with the time that you're devoting into it. Agree? Is that what you guys are saying?
100%.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, Ash, I love that you and Angela created such a beautiful onboarding process. Angela, thank you for sharing your onboarding experience and what it's been like working with the Dental A team. Ash, thanks for freaking killing it every single time. Like, to hear your organization, I love hearing Angela say my coach is rubbing off on me. And I'm like, oh, just the like love that you guys both have. And not just love, but the actual tangible results of a solid system, a solid onboarding process, the one-on-one check-ins, like those are tangible results that are ultimately equating to results within the practice as well. So to both of you, any last final thoughts you want to wrap up with? Angela, we'll start with you. Any last things you want to wrap this with?
I just want to, again, say thank you to the two of you and the team that follows you for just always, devoting your effort and energy into people on all levels of experience. And, it really does mean a lot. I appreciate you guys tremendously. And I'm glad that we found each other.
Oh, amen, sister. Amen. I love that. Thank you. Ash, what about for you? Any last wrap up thoughts?
Same, just like more expressions of gratitude. And I love being able to be a coach and to change people's lives. But I really love like taking the time just to connect with people, I guess, more on a personal level, and to watch things advance and change and grow and everybody be happy. So thank you for giving me that opportunity. And thank you, Angela, for allowing me to convince you to podcast.
Thank you for not letting me be a punk chicken.
I
appreciate you guys.
Ash, we've got to pull on more offices like this because it was really fun to hear like real time, real results of an office that's been coached, to hear a consultant talking about their office, and Angela, for you to just be a huge DAT fan anyway. So for all of you out there, if this is you, or if you're like, hey, I would love to experience consulting like Angela did and have somebody just hold you accountable, the Dental A team has different types of coaching. Like Angela, you were doing one-on-one coaching calls with Ashley and it helped you get through COVID, develop systems and processes, big pieces. So if that's you guys, reach out to the Dental A team. We love our practices. We love our teams. They're not just clients. They're actually our family. I think Ash, you would agree that we really do care so much about our teams and we want them to succeed. We take it on as our own practice, not just a client's practice. All right, you guys. Well, this is an excellent podcast. Thank you both for being here. And all you Dental A team listeners out there, thank you. And we'll catch you next time on the Dental A team podcast. All right, Dental A team listeners, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for listening. And if you love today's podcast, go leave us a review. It takes you 5 seconds, and your review helps more offices, more practices, more team members just like you find out about the Dental A team. Thank you guys so much for being part of my Dental A team family.